3,400 years ago, God revealed 10 commandments to Moses. Religion soon covered the globe, promising a world of peace and joy.
The world is a bad place, a bad place, a terrible place.
What if the Bible was actually a secret code? What if this code contained the power to transform our world for good? Moses never received a religion on Mount Sinai. The 10 Commandments, and even the Bible itself, are actually coded documents. The key that unlocks this ancient code is the Zohar, the most important book of Kabbalah. As we're about to discover, the Zohar had a decisive impact on both science and religion, deeply influencing history makers such as Abraham, Jesus, Muhammad, Newton, and others. The Zohar was first revealed some 2,000 years ago by the greatest Kabbalist of history, Rav Shimon Bar Yochai. But it remained hidden for 1,200 years until it emerged from obscurity in Spain in the 13th century. The sages of Kabbalah recognized the Zohar as the soul of the Bible, the guardian of its most sublime secrets. But in ancient times, it was thought to be a bewildering book of mysticism. Just imagine trying to explain the concept of a computer a few centuries ago. You'd be called a mystic, a heretic, mad. The fact is, the Zohar is a book of profound power. It's a book of science, a book of miracles, a book of life. But it dealt with concepts that were thousands of years ahead of their time. When science was convinced the earth was flat, the Zohar said,
"The whole world rolls around like a ball, so that some people are above and some are below."
In the time of Columbus, scientists thought only 2 continents existed. 20 centuries earlier, the Zohar said,
There exist 7 major geographical continents, but it is not yet known to those who mark out geographical boundaries.
2,000 years before medical science discovered the relationship between heart disease, the liver, and cholesterol, the Zohar stated,
From the liver emerges the bile, from which come bitter drops to kill human beings. Bile overcomes the arteries of the heart and all the arteries in the limbs of the body.
Medical science now tells us that bile's primary component is cholesterol. Only recently did science identify 2 kinds of cholesterol and fat, known as good fats and bad fats. The Zohar revealed this medical truth 2,000 years earlier.
In the body, there are pure and impure fatty parts, clean blood without waste matter, and blood contaminated with waste matter.
The Zohar ventured into the realm of physics. This ancient book said our universe existed in 10 dimensions. They were called 10 Sefirot. A radical notion, to say the least. But once again, modern-day science now confirms what the Zohar revealed so many centuries ago.
The universe we live in actually consists in 10 dimensions. Physicist Michio Kaku.
After being introduced to the Zohar's basic ideas about creation, Kaku stated,
It's eerie how the magic numbers of physics and the unified field theory are found in the Zohar.
The Zohar said our physical world is merely a shadow of these higher dimensions. While our world may be caught up in chaos and madness, it represents only 1% of absolute reality. The remaining 99% is found in these hidden dimensions. The 99% is the source of all our wisdom, our joy, our healing, even our creativity. When Paul McCartney woke up with the song Yesterday playing in his mind, McCartney was touching the 99%. Mozart said he could perceive an entire symphony in his mind in just a split second. Mozart said he transcended our ordinary world of time and space and entered into another reality. This other reality is the 99%. When we experience moments of happiness, times of pleasure, flashes of intuition, we've made contact with the 99% reality. The Zohar is that awesome instrument of power that connects us to the unseen 99%. How does this happen? The simple possession of the Zohar infuses one with spiritual nourishment and enlightenment. Merely gazing at its sacred letters turns on an astonishing light that removes darkness and despair from our lives. Forever. The Zohar exposed the biggest misconception of religion, the idea of 10 commandments. The phrase 10 commandments is really a code for the 10 dimensions. This is the 99% reality that overflows with infinite spiritual energy. Perhaps this is why the greatest minds of history passionately sought it out. The influence of the Zohar goes back thousands of years. In ancient Greece, Plato spoke about a hidden reality he called the world of ideas. This higher world was the source of all wisdom. Our physical world was simply a shadow of this hidden realm. Sound familiar? 17 centuries later, Sir Isaac Newton said Plato obtained his ideas from the Zohar. And the Kabbalists who were dwelling in Egypt at the time. Sir Isaac wrote,
Plato, traveling to Egypt, learnt there his metaphysical opinions, which he calls ideas, and which the Kabbalists call sphirot.
The renowned philosopher Henry Moore was Isaac Newton's teacher. Moore and all his peers agreed that Plato's wisdom was derived from the pure Kabbalah transmitted to Moses on Sinai. During the Renaissance, the Zohar dramatically inspired the great Christian philosophers and scientists, Isaac Newton being the greatest. Scholars were shocked when they discovered that Newton actually wrote more about Kabbalah and mysticism than he did about science.
Newton was led to the discovery of the law of attraction and repulsion by his studies of the Kabbalah.
This is Newton's personal copy of the Zohar. It is still archived at Trinity College in Cambridge. French scholar Serge Houghton said the Zohar had a profound effect on Newton's theories of space and time. He even calls Newton a Christian Kabbalist. Next to gravity, Newton's greatest discovery was that white light contained all the colors of the rainbow. What led Newton to this historic finding? Remarkably, the Zohar states,
Colors blend with each other, except for the white color, in which all are incorporated.
Wilhelm Leibniz invented calculus and has been hailed as the father of the modern-day computer. Leibniz was enamored with the Zohar. In fact, this mathematical genius often spoke about his plans for a learned society that would combine Kabbalah, calculus, mysticism, and mechanics. Leibniz, Newton, and the foremost Christian philosophers of the Renaissance believed in a concept they called Prisca Theologia. Prisca Theologia was defined as a secret hidden wisdom given to Moses. They all believed that this hidden wisdom had the spiritual power to create harmony between Christians and Jews, unify all people, and create a true heaven on earth, if it could only be rediscovered. Scholar Alison Coder says the most enlightened minds of the Renaissance looked to the Zohar for the elusive Prisca Theologia.
Kabbalistic writings represented the first and purest source of that divine knowledge. The Kabbalistic wisdom of the Zohar offered nothing less than a blueprint of utopia.
Paracelsus is the father of modern medicine. Encyclopedia Britannica says he established the role of chemistry in medicine. Columbia Encyclopedia says the scientific revolution begins with the work of Paracelsus. So what does the father of modern-day medicine write?
All of you who teach so much wisdom, remember that you must take unto yourselves the teachings of the Kabbalah if you want to accomplish all this.
Most recently, there was a startling revelation made about the secret teachings of Jesus found in the Gospel of Thomas. In her best-selling book, Beyond Belief, author Elaine Pagels demonstrates that the lost teachings of Jesus are remarkably similar to the Kabbalistic wisdom found in the Zohar. In the 15th century, Pope Sixtus IV had himself translated 70 Kabbalistic books into Latin. 1559, the Roman Inquisition. Pope Paul IV ordered the burning of the Talmud, the Quran, and other religious works. As 12,000 books were becoming ashes, this same Pope authorizes the first ever printing of the Zohar. Kabbalist Isaac de Latte was instrumental in the printing of the first Zohar. He noted that during the Inquisition, the Church did not harm the Kabbalists. Furthermore, he believed the fact that the Church authorized the publication of the Zohar was proof they sought to remove the hatred and intolerance that existed between Jew and Christian. Renowned historian Dr. Israel Zinberg noted how the Catholic Church actually played a vital role in the spreading of the Kabbalah throughout Europe. The Prophet Muhammad wrote about the Zohar in the Quran, referring to it as the Book of Abraham, which he held in the highest esteem. Historian and renowned scholar of the Dead Sea Scrolls, Professor Robert Eisenman states, "The New Testament, the Quran, and the Dead Sea Scrolls are all heirs to and permeated with the imagery and traditions conserved in the Zohar." In our time, the Zohar's presence in a home, in a city, arouses a force of energy that protects, even during periods of great suffering. World War II claimed the lives of 50 million people. However, amid this bloody carnage, one group of people received unexplained protection, even from the horrors known as the final solution. Sephardics. Sephardics are commonly thought to be Jews whose roots are in Spain, but a closer examination shows a much deeper connection: the Zohar.
Moroccan Jews have the unique practice of venerating the Zohar, the primary text of the Kabbalah. The Zohar was extremely important. When someone was in trouble, the Zohar was brought to the troubled house for a ritual reading.
Historian J. Sands points out that there were several places in Morocco where scholars chanted the Zohar 24 hours a day. Then came a war. The Nazis demand the deportation of Morocco's 250,000 Sephardics. King Mohammed V said,
"There are no Jews in Morocco, only Moroccans."
Unbelievably, the Nazis turned around and left, even though Morocco had no real army to defend itself against the mighty German war machine.
In Morocco, we have seen no deportations, no Nazism, no concentration camps, and no Inquisition whatsoever. Rather, we have seen Jews and Muslims living together and respecting each other.
The great Kabbalist Rav Eliezer Papo was the main rabbi of Bulgaria before World War II. In his famous book, The Wonderful Advisor, Papo writes, "Everyone should read the Zohar, even if they do not understand a word." World War II. King Boris of Bulgaria and the Nazis become allies. March 1943. 8,500 Bulgarian Jews are about to be deported to Treblinka. Remarkably, a few hours later, King Boris tells them to go home. Not a single one of Bulgaria's 50,000 Sephardics was sent to the death camps. Historians still cannot agree as to why it happened. When asked why the Sephardics experienced this almost uncanny protection during World War II, Aaron Breitbart, senior investigator at the Simon Wiesenthal Center, stated,
I have to say, we really don't know. Rommel's troops had millions of Sephardics in their grasp.
But there is an answer, and it's one of the oldest secrets of the Zohar. The secret is found in the word Sephardic and its true meaning, which has been lost since the 13th century. The Kabbalists unlocked the mystery of the word Sephardic by examining the Old Testament. The sages tell us there are 4 levels of biblical wisdom: literal stories, hints, interpretations, and secrets of the Zohar. In Hebrew, these 4 levels are known by the acronym Pardes, formed from the first letter of each word. When you move the Hebrew letter for secrets to the beginning, Pardes now spells Sepharad. Sephardic actually refers to any person who embraces the Zohar first. So why were Sephardics mistakenly associated with Spain? Because Spain was the birthplace of the Zohar. In truth, Sephardic has nothing to do with race, or nationality, or religion. Any person of any faith or culture becomes Sephardic the moment he or she possesses the Holy Zohar. Christians, Hindus, Muslims all receive the power of miracles and protection the moment the Zohar becomes a presence in their life. This is the universal power of the Zohar. This has always been its power. The Zohar speaks of a time of unprecedented change. This unique moment would be marked by specific events, including the arrival of the Hebrew calendar year 5760, the year 2000, and a frightening day of judgment that the Zohar said would bring turmoil to the most powerful city on earth. Says the Zohar,
two kinds of judgment will be combined, and that day will cause there to be a flame of fire. It will burn many towers. Many towers will collapse.
The Zohar describes the force of judgment.
And because the other evil side saw this, it gained courage and sent a dog to eat the offerings. And what is the name of that dog? Baladan is its name, and he is not a human being.
So we now find ourselves in a time of two possible paths, one filled with judgment, the other a path of blessings. The Zohar promises blessings and protection for those who embrace this indestructible book of light. The moment the Zohar enters someone's life, change occurs. Miracles unfold. Muslim Prince Farouk Aga of Spain walks away from a deadly car accident without a scratch. The prince had just been given a Zohar. In an interview, Prince Aga stated,
"This is the only book that is for all humanity. It creates miracles. There is something unusual and wonderful about this book."
While the worst hatred and violence runs rampant through the Middle East, top Palestinian official Abu Shadi is given the Zohar. His response is surprising, but then again, it is not.
I believe in this book. I believe in this life.
As a last resort, New York cardiologist Dr. Arthur Spiconi uses the Zohar on a patient in cardiac arrest. When all appears hopeless, his colleagues are shocked when the patient recovers.
Suddenly, an artery that was completely blocked opened. It was unexplainable. When the whole ordeal was over, there was absolutely no damage to the heart. Nothing. No evidence of a heart attack.
The following story captures the Zohar's ability to heal the human heart, but in a slightly different and more profound way. Colombia, South America, June 2000. More than 35,000 people have died in the last 10 years as a result of brutal conflicts involving rebel guerrillas, including the National Liberation Army, or ELN. Massacres and kidnappings have become part of the Colombian landscape. Rachel, not her real name, is a teacher at the Kabbalah Center in Mexico City. She travels to Medellin, Colombia, to meet with top leaders of these fierce guerrilla factions. Rachel is blindfolded. Then she's taken to an unidentified location by car. The drive is approximately 4 hours. She meets the feared and notorious Colombian guerrilla leader, Alphonse Ramirez, not his real name. According to Rachel, Ramirez is cynical, unresponsive. He grants her 60 minutes for a meeting, not a minute longer. But 4 hours pass, and Alphonse Ramirez has completely changed in attitude. It was a powerful meeting, discussing Zohar, learning about the power of spiritual light. Ramirez writes Rachel a letter a week later. The letter profoundly reveals how the Zohar has set a guerrilla leader's soul aflame. Hello, Rachel. A sweet hug full of light, love, and peace. The feelings of harmony and joy that I felt after your visit are still within me. I'm scanning the Zohar. I search in it for peace and connection with the cosmos. I'm with you wherever you are. I'm still asking questions regarding the destiny of men, humankind, and the universe. Time is so short and history so long that I want to seize every instant to grow and contribute in the transformation of my country. I unite myself with all those who at this moment are concentrating on the Zohar, dreaming of building a better world. I embrace myself with your teacher and with you, and together, in one ray of light, let's turn on the bonfires of peace for Colombia and the world. An eternal hug. With respect and love, Alphonse Ramirez. July 24th, 2000. Alphonse Ramirez enters into peace talks with the Colombian government at a summit in Geneva. Only one set of Zohar was given to the Colombian rebels. Imagine if 10,000 sets of Zohar were placed in this country. Did you ever dream of truly changing your life? Did you ever dream of actually changing the world? After 2,000 years of concealment, the Zohar is finally available to everyone. People from all walks of life are now studying the Zohar's wisdom in classes and seminars given by the Kabbalah Center throughout the world. And lives are changing every day. The Kabbalah Center has distributed tens of thousands of Zohar to firefighters, police officers, airline pilots, Israelis, Palestinians, leaders of government. Zohars have been shipped to hospitals, to schools, to the offices of prime ministers, to the palaces of kings. They've sent Zohars into war zones and into the fields of battle. At last, all of you have the opportunity to experience and feel the light for the rest of your life.